Alright, what's up, y'all? Story time in this bitch. Hold on. About to take a ride, though. Let some people get up in here. What's up, John? Yeah, I'm actually gonna tell a story from Avatar mode, Grand Theft Auto. Watch how I do it. But yeah, I'm riding around the Hummer on 30s. This is what Big Rick's Hummer looked like back in the day. Now, mind you, this was over probably like 10 years ago, so back at the time, it was some hot shit, you know? But yeah, he had the Hummer on the big 30s and shit, so I needed a visual aid to tell this story, man, so I had to go make this motherfucker, you know, and pull it out on y'all, man. So hold on, man, let me jump out this bitch. We finna pull up on the beach, man. Since I ain't never seen the ocean in real life, shit, we finna go to the ocean right here, man. I'm finna tell y'all the story from the motherfucking beach, man. Hold on, man. Yeah. Trust me, it'll be worth it, bro. It'll be worth it. We're gonna let a couple of people get in here as I hit this corner. You know, finna bend this motherfucking counter. Yeah. But yeah, so we're to the point in the story where Big Rick's like, man, we're hanging out like after hours and shit, snorting coke, smoking weed and shit, right? Big Rick's like, man, I'll make a bitch eat a shit taco, man. And I'm like, what? The fuck you mean, bro? Like, huh? Like, I didn't know if this was like a phrase, some kind of metaphor or something. I'm like, well, bro, like, what you mean, man? And he's like, hold on, I'm gonna jump out at the beach, man. And he's like, man. He's like, no, I'm serious. And he's like, hold on. Got to describing it, right? Now, of course, at the time, mind you, I'm like, this nigga's crazy. I couldn't comprehend what comes out of his mouth next, right? Hold on, man. See, oh, yes, a sub out there and everything. Yeah, well, so check it out, y'all. Yeah, so you check the Hummer out and shit, man. Yeah, so I'm gonna tell y'all this story, man, right here from Avatar mode. So Big Rick's like, man, I'll make a bitch eat shit tacos, man. And I'm like, what the fuck is you talking about, bro? And he's like, yeah, man, I'm serious. He's like, I took a shit, put it in the taco shell, put the fixings. That's what really killed me. That's where he fucked me up, because he's like, I put the fixings on it. You know, like some lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, even down to the taco sauce, right? I shit you not, right? He says, this comes out of his mouth, right? And he's laughing as he's saying this, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, all right, man. He's laughing while he's saying this. And he's like, yeah, then I made the bitch take a bite out of it. She ate like half of it, right? And I'm thinking to myself, you're full of, like, there's no way, right? There's no way, right? That a bitch would do this, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, she didn't look like nothing. She wasn't nothing to look at. She's just an ugly ass bitch, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, like, and I must have asked him, like, bro, why would you do some shit like that, right? And he's like, man, once a bitch does some foul, funky ass shit like that, she'll do whatever you ever ask her or tell her to do. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, like, this is just some far out, old crazy ass pimp talk or some shit, right? Like, I still am just like, okay, Rick's just clowning right now, right? I'm thinking like, hell no, like, Rick, you're fucking crazy, bro. Like, Rick's just clowning, right? So I don't really believe this story, you know what I'm saying, for anything in the world. I'm just thinking he's just clowning, right? So my homie was with me, right? And for years after this, I would always ask him like, hey, bro, do you remember that time Big Rick was telling us that story about making bitches eat shit tacos? He really said that, right? He's like, yeah. He really said that, man. I'm like, yeah, that shit was far out. Like, if I didn't have somebody that's still a living witness to that, I probably wouldn't even say that shit because it just sounds so outlandish, right? But my homie actually is a witness to that shit though, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. So it gets to the point where it's kind of funny. Like one night, I remember he offered my homie, who had never snorted coke, right? He offered him some money to snort some coke. And I'm like, man, my guy don't snort that shit, man. It was something astronomical, right? It was something like, it's like $5,000 or $10,000 or something stupid, or like a few $1,000s, right? I don't remember the exact number. So Rick's like, man, if you snort this coke over here, you snort that coke right there, I'll give your ass X amount of dollars, right? And I forgot what my homie said or how it went, right? But at the end of the night, I was like, shit, man, you could have snorted that shit and still claimed you'd never done cocaine, bro. That shit was bunked in a motherfucker. That shit wasn't even really coke, bro. Like, you should have just did it, right? I'm just laughing, right? So, because one of the homies was notorious for just having shitty dope, just fucking straight up re-rock, just huff, right? Dude just had that bullshit, man. But he would always be giving it out for free and shit, right? At the end of the night, motherfuckers would be all drunk, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, I know what real coke is, and I knew just on the sight and the smell of that shit, like, that shit ain't even barely worth snorting up your nose, dog. Like, and you sell that shit and do it, like, but so, you know, either or, right? So I'm tripping, right? Off the fact that, off this story that Rick tells us one of these nights. So fast forward, right? I'm sitting in jail. And remember, he said it was like a brainwashing type, mind control type, you know, I guess, whatever, right? There was a philosophy about this, behind this, right? I guess, whatever, right? What's up, James? So I'm like, okay, whatever, man. So I'm sitting in jail, right? And I'm reading the newspaper, and I'm reading about this caper that Rick pulled, right? For $500,000, right? Now, here's the story, right? Now, these two females, right? These two females that were cool with Rick, his bitches or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They had met this guy online, right? And the guy had some construction company where they were doing like the highway on 35W, some big construction job, right? It's still not done. Put it like that. That shit was at probably over 10 years ago when this happened, and it's still not done. So the dude had a construction company. He met these girls, right? He met this one particular girl named Alabama. Now, Alabama was a girl that hung around our crew, but didn't nobody really want to fuck with her because she was kind of like a heavy-set fat girl, right? Fat white girl, right? From Alabama. Her name isn't really Alabama. You just have to Google the story. I forgot what her real name was, but I knew her as Alabama, right? Nobody really wanted to fuck with Alabama because, like I said, she wasn't really nothing to look at, right? So Big Rick, being the person he is, he takes her under his wing, right? Big Rick takes her under his wing, and I really don't know what what transpires between them, right? Up until this point, right? So I'm reading this shit in the newspaper where she met this guy and got pictures of him. Now, he was married. He was a prominent member of his society, his little city or town. He was a Knights of Columbus, which is like, you know, it's like a secret society. It's kind of like a Masonic organization, you know what I'm saying? And so this dude had like this double life he was leading, right? So while he was fucking with Alabama, this other girl jumps out the closet and starts taking pictures of him fucking her, right? So now they got the pictures, right? The girls got the pictures, right? Now, Rick really didn't play much of a role in this shit. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, you know, hatching the plot and the whole situation, man. They brought that shit to him, right? So they brought that shit to Rick. Now, when he got caught, so the girls got like $550,000 from this dude, right? But to get the money, he had to refinance his house. He had to borrow like $200,000 from one of his business partners and all this extra shit. You guys, no matter what, it's hard for anybody to really get that amount of money together. It might have took him a week or two to get this money together, you guys. Like, it is not easy, right? You know, now he did all this because he didn't want to get caught by his wife, which to me is insane, man. Like, motherfucker, you should have just said you were cheating on your bitch, man. You should have just told your wife you were cheating. Instead, this guy paid the $550,000, right? But then, after that money was ran through, the girls pressed him again, right? They pressed him again, like, we want another $500,000. This motherfucker left a suicide note, drove out to the middle of like a nature refuge, took a shotgun, put it in his mouth, pulled the trigger, blew his head off. In the suicide note is where all these details that ended up on the front page of the newspaper come from. Okay? So in his suicide note, he said, well, this is the best thing for my family. I'm being extorted for over $550,000 and I don't see any way out of this. Like, are you fucking stupid? First of all, soon as you left that suicide note, you snitched on everybody. So, and you told your wife you cheated. I just cannot believe that this dumb motherfucker chose to kill himself. If you were going to do that dumb shit, like, you should have, if that guy was going to do that, y'all, honestly, a logic thinking person would have just snitched on Rick and told his wife, hey, I fucked up. I made a mistake. Sorry. It's a big mistake. It's a huge fucking mistake, right? Huge fucking mistake. But he just made it 10 times worse by committing suicide in the middle of the woods, right? And leaving the suicide note, right? So I'm reading this in the newspaper, sitting in the joint, right? I'm reading this, right? And now when Rick told me about it, I didn't believe him. Why the fuck? You're talking about making bitches eat shit tacos and shit, dog? Like, I mean, Rick's my guy. Don't get it fucked up, man. He's a baller. Rick's a boss. But, I mean, I just kind of thought, like, maybe he just was kind of like, you know, bullshitting a little bit. You know, motherfuckers be bullshitting sometimes, man, you know. Now, Rick was already rich, though. That's why I'm like, okay, well, you're already a... So even when he said he had that, you know, even when he said that, it was like, you're already known for having big money. So it ain't shit for you tell me, here's crazy, you can have $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this fool bought a chinchilla coat. This fool had a chinchilla coat. I shit you not. He went and bought like a chinchilla coat, man. He had the Frank Lucas chinchilla coat, man. It looked better than the one Frank Lucas had, you know? This fool, man, this fool was already rich. Rick had like a rich native girl or something like that from the res. You know? When he got arrested, the fucked up thing about it is they found the SIM card with the pictures under Rick's floor mat in like the bathroom of his crib or something like that. So he was like red-handedly caught up in this situation, right? Now he bought a lawyer that was like a $50,000 lawyer. He hired Earl Gray, which is one of the best lawyers in the state of Minnesota, right? But I mean, still, at the end of the day, when I read what I read in the newspaper, the first story that they put out, I'm like, Rick's going to prison for the rest of his life, man. There's no questions about it, man. They found the SIM card under his fucking floor mat of his mansion. Like, oh, fuck, hell no. Right? So I'm like, oh, man. Like, this is a fucked up scenario, right? So I get out, right? And, you know, I got to ask Rick, I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? How the fuck? I mean, I thought you were lying, bro. Thought you were lying, you know? So he kind of explained, you know, that he didn't really have much to do with it as far as like, he pled guilty to receiving like $64,000 or something like that, and holding the tape. You know, the females that did it, they basically took the rap, is how that went. They basically were like, we did this, we did that. You know, I probably got probation for that shit because they had no criminal record. Rick did 13 months in the workhouse, right? The workhouse is like a county, it's like a county jail / prison, right? That's where I was sitting when I read the story in the beginning. I was in the workhouse, right? It's like an old federal prison turned into like a county jail where you do like 1 to 3 years at the most, but like you usually do anywhere from like a couple of weeks up to a year is how it's structured, right? So yeah, Rick did 13 months in the workhouse for that situation. He pled guilty to that. Now another dude around the same time, his name was Tracy Maxwell. Now you can Google that name also, right? Tracy Maxwell, the person's name is Ricky Punsel, and it's Punsel. It's spelled like council, but it's spelled Punsel with a P, right? You can Google this shit, man. So I wouldn't speak on no shit like this if it wasn't on the front page of the newspaper. That's the first thing y'all would have to understand. Like, there's no way I would, hell no, not for no views, not for y'all's entertainment. That shit'd be fucking crazy, bro. Like, nah, man. I'm telling you what's on paper. You know? So, yeah, when I asked Rick about it, he was like, man, the girl jumped out of the closet and started snapping photos of the guy while he was fucking old girl. And that was just too much, I guess. You know? Dude was just couldn't come clean with his wife. And it's like, you know what? The lesson in this story, first of all, is don't ever trust a bitch. You know? Don't ever trust a bitch, especially not a hoe. And don't trust no bitch that you meet on the internet. He met them bitches on the internet, man. Big fucking mistake. And another thing is like, if you're so in love with your wife and your girlfriend or whatever, and you just like, you can't live without her, man, don't cheat on her and put yourself in a scenario like this. You know, I could say I kind of feel bad for the dude, but I really don't. He just went out like a bitch, man. Dude did some sucker ass shit and ended up blowing his head off instead of manning up. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I really thought about it and I'm like, nah, hell no. Like, you only get what you got coming in this motherfucking world, man. You know? And that was his karma. You know? Is that, you know, it's like this shit backfired on everybody. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine that. But yeah, Tracy Maxwell did the same type of shit. But when his shit, you know, when somebody really did call the police on him, the dude called the cops instead of paying up, right? And Tracy Maxwell killed like 3 people and killed himself. Instead of like dealing with that shit, that fool held court in the street on everybody, and his shit ended totally different. But those are 2 stories about 2 motherfuckers that were kind of really getting money and doing their thing in the game at the time and kind of met their demise. Rick's still around to this day, though. I seen him at the Mall of America. You know what I'm saying? We had a conversation and shit, you know what I'm saying? Rick's still around to this day, though, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Did 13 months. Came home, still a baller, does his thing. He's like a Champagne representative or some shit like that. He's like, I don't know, promotes some kind of champagne. I forgot the name of the label, but yeah, he does his thing though, y'all. But yeah, that's the big Rick story right there, man. You know, Google that shit. You think I'm lying? You know? All right, you guys, I'm out of this bitch. Fuck y'all, man. I'm about to go smoke some, you know, smoke, man.